Hey guys, it's your girl Coach Cailah. All right, so in this video, I actually did a presentation. I put it together for one of my my online coaching programs, and it's about the differences between the different oils and fats, and also it takes you through and it shows you what to buy, what not to buy, and how it affects your health. Okay, so get your pen and paper out. It's about 35 minutes long or whatever, but it gives you a lot of good information. So make sure, again, get your pen and paper out, because we're going to go through the different things and why it can help. Surprisingly, a lot of information may shock you, right? It may be a little bit different than what either you or I were taught, because a lot of things from the past are being refound that they were incorrect. Okay, so thank you again for watching. Subscribe to the channel. I have more videos like this if you like it, right? So give me a thumbs up if you like it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button below. But yeah, let me know if you like this format, this style, this presentation type, but it's going to be extremely informative. So I hope you're looking for some good information, and I hope it helps. Always design your body. Let's get right to it. Guys, what's up? So I wanted to redo the oils and fats presentation because I just wasn't satisfied with it, and I wanted to give you more information. So here it is. Oils and fats by me, Coach Cailah. All right, sweet. So here is your agenda. Okay, so we're going to talk about the fat breakdown, the big question, oils to cook with, oils to use sparingly, and oils to never, ever, ever use again. All right, some of them may surprise you, and some of them are a little different than last time. All right, so fun fact, your brain consists of a minimum of 60% fat. All right, so your brain, this thing up here, the most important thing in your body, is made up of a minimum of 60% fat. I had to make sure we're recording. Okay. All right. So fat breakdown, what exactly is fat, right? So fats are compounds that play essential roles in many aspects of human health. So they are essential. We literally need them for proper human function and body composition. All right, and there are different types of fats. So we have monounsaturated fatty acids, what we call MUFAs. We have polyunsaturated fatty acids, what we call PUFAs. We have saturated fatty acids, just called saturated. And then we also have trans-saturated fatty acids, okay? So trans fats, this is kind of just how we categorize them. So MUFAs, all right? So MUFAs are some of the healthiest things in terms of fats that we want to look for, all right? And here's why. All right, so MUFAs, they're actually found in plant foods, right? Nuts, avocados, so on and so forth, and various plant-based oils, okay? Not all vegetable oils, but various plant-based oils specifically, okay? So MUFAs can help lower your bad cholesterol, which is your LDL for the most part, right? They also can help develop and maintain your cells, because just like your brain is encased in minimum, it's actually made up of a minimum of 60% fat, right? Your cells themselves are encased in a lipid bilayer. That means that you have your cells, you have your intracellular fluid, and on the outside of the cell itself, that cell wall is made up of a layer of fat, because fat is very protective and it's neuroregenerative, okay? MUFAs also help with weight loss. They reduce your risk of heart disease, and also they can decrease inflammation. So when we're talking about inflammation, inflammation is literally one of the root causes, if not the most serious root cause in majority of diseases that deal with the body, okay? Now, I'm not talking about rashes, right? I'm talking about majority of diseases that deal with our health, our nutrition, our fitness, things like that, okay? So diets rich in MUFAs can help reduce the risk of certain cancers. They also can improve our insulin sensitivity. So, you know, I always talk about sugar. I always talk about insulin. So what we want to do is we want to improve the sensitivity that our cells can actually uptake insulin, that will reduce the amount of insulin that is secreted by our pancreas. Long story short, the more sensitive you are to insulin, the less fat you should have around your waistline. Pretty much, kind of point blank, all right? So now moving on into our PUFAs. So polyunsaturated fatty acids. Notice the first one was mono, meaning that basically you have, you know, one or less double bonds in that in that fatty acid itself. Whereas for your PUFAs, they're polyunsaturated, meaning there are several double bonds. Again, chemistry, whatever. So PUFAs also are found in plants. They're also found in animals, okay, such as salmon, different veggie oils, nuts, and seeds. All right. They can also help lower your LDL. Now, polyunsaturated fatty acids, the best part about poly is that they include omega-3 and omega-6. That's what polys are really known for. Now, the only thing is that we've got to have an adequate ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s because there are differing ratios, all right? Now, consuming high cholesterol foods does not raise your cholesterol level. Here's another fun fact, all right? I'll say it again. Consuming high cholesterol foods does not raise your cholesterol levels. The more you eat, the less your body naturally makes, which balances out the ratio. So your body produces cholesterol, right? If you don't consume enough in your diet, in your nutrition, in your intake, then your body's going to produce more. If you consume an adequate amount in your nutrition, then your body will produce less to self-regulate. So don't be afraid about eating healthy cholesterol. Long story short. All right. Now, PUFAs. So again, PUFAs they're broken down into two main categories: your omega-3s, your omega-6s. There's another called omega-9, but not as important. So your omega-3s, I know you've heard of fish oil, right? That's a pure omega-3, right? I know you've heard of things or simply taking supplements that say omega-3 because it's so important to get this specific type of nutrient in our body. And here's why. First of all, your body cannot make omega-3s nor 6s. So that means that we have to get it from our nutrition. We have to get it from our diet. That's why we supplement these things, or we can't. All right. So again, omega-3s, they're essential because our body can't make it. The main types are alpha linolenic acid, again, ALA, but they are the building blocks for EPA and DHA. So what that means is that they build these other nutrients that our body needs, okay? So they, omega-3s support many body systems, energy production, and also decrease the risk of many chronic diseases because of its anti-inflammatory nature, all right? EPA is anti-inflammatory. I will not say the whole word because it's like 30 letters and I'm not going to just mess up the pronunciation. All right. DHA, right, is also very popular and very important too. So EPA, the proper function of our nervous system, that's what it deals with, right? Including our brain, depends on the presence of DHA. So I'm going to go on a tangent really quickly. Did you know that a lot of neural disorders are due to a lack of omega-3s, right? Now I'm talking about Alzheimer's. I'm talking about Parkinson's, right? I'm talking about ADHD, ADD, things like that, right? So our nutrition really solves a problem to a lot of things that our people are having. And that's why it's so important to really push this thing through and really learn more about it, okay? Now, another interesting thing is that drop in the brain levels of DHA are known and associated with cognitive impairment or slower neurological development, specifically in children, okay? So that means that when our children don't get enough of these omega-3s, that their cognitive growth and development is severely impaired. It's severely retarded, like not the bad way to say it, but it's retarded, right? So we need to make sure that we are feeding our kids the right things in the right way, all right? PUFAs are also omega-6s, okay? So we just went over a big old list of the omega-3s as to why they are healthy. So let's talk about omega-6s. All right, so again, omega-6s are essential fatty acids. That means our body does not make them. Now, they are found in vegetable oils, okay, including corn oil, even primrose seeds, safflower, soybeans, so on and so forth. So you can always find a PUFA that has omega-6s, all right? It's just about the level. Now, here's the thing. Omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. All right. So omega-3s are anti-inflammatory. We understand what that means, but omega-6s are pro-inflammatory. So inflammation does serve a purpose in the body, right? You sprain your ankle swells up because your body is sending all of these particles and all of these white blood cells and things like that and pus and whatever else to help heal, to help clean, to help stop issues. So again, that's hugely dealt with by omega-6s. But the issue is that when that pro-inflammatory system just runs rampant, or we have too much omega-6s, now our joints are starting to hurt, right? Our body is swollen, right? So there are many issues that come from having too much inflammation, okay? It also, again, on the positive sides, helps with all functions of the cells, okay? So again, too much omega-6 can change the way your cells react, right? And they also can have too much of it can have a harmful effect on the cells in the heart and in the blood vessels. So omega-6s is not something that we really want to consume a lot of. We have to be very cognizant of that, okay? Another fun fact, so nervous system deficiencies of DHA have been associated with a wide variety of problems, including neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's, cognitive problems, including reasoning in children, and severity of multiple sclerosis. So issues that can be healed with nutrition, once again, particularly fat, which is kind of fun. Now, we've hit our MUFAs, we've hit our PUFAs. In subsection, PUFAs is going to be your omega-3s, omega-6s. We didn't worry about omega-9s, don't worry about that yet. Now, saturated fatty acids. Look at that big old piece of juicy steak. Yeah, all right. Saturated fatty acids, here we go. So saturated refers to the number of hydrogen atoms surrounding each carbon atom, which you don't need to care about whatsoever, okay? But what you need to care about is this. There are 3 types. You have short chain, you have medium chain, and then you have long chain, all right? Saturated fatty acids. Now, your short chain actually are produced, right, from friendly gut bacteria that becomes fermented in the colon, all right? So short chains are produced from what we consume in our diet. Medium chain actually makes you feel fuller, right? And it helps you consume fewer calories because long chain means there's more in it. Long chain are going to be higher calorie than is medium chain, all right? So think about MCT, right? Medium chain triglycerides, same exact thing, okay? Now, saturated fatty acids, of course, you knew this, are found in animal products like milk, cheese, and meat, right? As well as some tropical oils like coconut oil and palm oil. The easiest way to tell what is saturated versus what is not saturated, right? Or what's unsaturated is that fat itself is solid at room temperature. So think about butter, solid at room temperature. Think about coconut oil, solid room temperature, right? Palm oil, if you've seen it, shea butter, right? Cocoa butter. Those are all saturated fatty acids, okay? That are solid at room temperature, okay? All right, so here's an interesting, probably the most interesting fact that I found so far and recent, okay? So a 2017 study that followed a whole bunch of people from 18 different countries for 7.5 years on average showed that saturated fat intake is not associated with stroke, with heart disease, with heart attack, or I said heart disease twice, right? Or heart disease related deaths, right? So again, a study that followed 100,000 so odd people from 18 different countries, meaning that there are different walks of life, there are different nutrition styles, there are different whatever else, types of meat, types of food, but they followed them for 7 years and they did not find a causation, right? That saturated fat increase your level of stroke or your risk of stroke, heart disease, heart attack, or heart disease related deaths. So think about this, 2017, not long ago. So this means that a lot of the things that we have understood in the past was wrong. Okay, so there's a whole situation as to why there was a bad label put on fat. Right? I won't go into that now, but realize what you and I, again, this is my traditional education. I paid for this education. What I learned about nutrition and specifically about fat in the past was wrong. So I need you to be open and understanding that, hey, let me get this new knowledge. And if you ever want the link, boom, it's right here, or you can type it in to look at that study yourself, okay? All right, now we hit MUFAs, we hit PUFAs, we hit saturated fats, and the last main type of fat is going to be trans fats. Now look at that nasty, greasy picture on the side. Cheeseburgers, fries, battered, whatever, things that you're going to get out at restaurants and specifically fast food joints, okay? So trans fats, this is what's nasty, okay? Trans fats aren't even a natural thing. It's not natural, but it is a byproduct, Okay, meaning that it came as a result of a chemical reaction, right? So it's a byproduct of a process called hydrogenation, right? Hydrogenation. So what happens is it's used to turn healthy oils into solids, right? And prevent them from becoming rancid. So rancidity is when the oil itself goes bad. That means that it's unhealthy. That means that it's increased its free radicals. That means that it's increased its opportunity to oxidize. So if you don't know what oxidation is, what it is, just think about a rusty car, right? You put water on that rusty car, you sit it out in the sun for a few years, whatever. It begins to rust because the components are being exposed to oxygen. So it's oxygenized, right? Oxidated. Yes, it's oxidated. Now, in your body, the same thing happens. Not that your body can't use oxygen. It's not that, right? But there are certain compounds called free radicals that can attack cells. They attack cells and they actually turn them, I'm not going to say into rust, but that's the same process, right? They turn them bad, all right? They turn them very harmful. And then we need to consume more and more antioxidants. You've heard of that, fruits, vegetables, things like that. We need to consume more antioxidants that can help stop that oxidizing process. Why is it such a big deal, Coach? So glad that you asked. It's a big deal because the more things in our body that become oxidized, the increase our risk for disease, specifically things like cancer, right? Things like inflammation and other super terrible diseases and issues that build and breed things like heart attack, right? Things like possibly stroke or atherosclerosis, all right? So super important. Trans fats are bad, all right? We know that. Okay, but that is why. There is literally no known health benefits, and it is not safe to consume whatsoever. Recently, I should have put the year on here, but recently it's been banned from the United States. About time, United States government, about time, okay? But so that's why you'll see a lot of commercials saying, oh, zero trans fats. Well, it shouldn't. Why should I be looking to see if you're going to try and kill me or not? Like that makes no sense to me. So don't fall for the nutritional marketing when it says zero trans fats. Oh, it must be healthy. Like, no, it doesn't work that way. All right. Now, trans fats, they increase your LDL and decrease your HDL, which is the opposite of what we want to happen. They increase your inflammation, which is linked to, again, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, and other chronic conditions. All right. They also contribute to insulin resistance. So everything bad that could happen because of trans fats or because of consuming anything nutrition-wise does. It increases the toxicity of your body, right? It hurts you. All right. So stop eating this shit here on the left. Okay. I was looking at the transcriber to see if it was going to transcribe my S word, and it didn't. It's funny. All right. So fun fact, for every 2% of calories that you consume, right, from trans fats on a daily basis, it increases your risk of heart disease by 23%. That is huge. I'll read it again. For every 2% of calories from trans fats consumed daily, the risk of heart disease rises by 23%. Woo, that's heavy when you think about that. That's heavy. All right. So what is the big question? Okay. So the big question is, well, what makes an oil good? How can I even tell if it's a good oil, a bad oil, whatever else, right? So we're going to get into that. All right, so the biggest thing is that we want to have high levels of MUFAs, right? High levels of anti-inflammatory, high levels of proper nutrients, all that good stuff. So we want to mainly have high levels of MUFAs, all right? We also want to look at the smoke point and make sure we're using oils that the smoke point won't cause an issue. So we talked about rancid, right? Things go rancid when they start to smoke. So if I have some olive oil in the pan and the pan, let's say I'm frying chicken in olive oil, right? Let's say, because I want to be healthy. Okay, cool. So I fried chicken, but then the pan and the oil itself starts to smoke. That means that the oil is burning and the oil is becoming rancid, and the oil is now full of more and more and more free radicals. Remember, free radicals cause oxidation in the body. Oxidation causes inflammation and therefore leads towards more and more disease. We don't want to mess with the smoke point, okay? And every oil has a different smoke point. So that means that different oils should be used for different purposes based off of how many MUFAs and, of course, their smoke point. All right, so again, intended purpose. So if something has a low smoke point, I should not be frying something in that, right? If it has a high smoke point, then it's a little better to fry in, okay? But if it has a high smoke point and it has low MUFAs, nope, still doesn't matter, all right? Okay, and the last thing is how it's bottled, all right? So we'll get into that. So how it's bottled, we wanna make sure that oil becomes rancid by heat, okay? By sunlight, so making sure it's out of direct sunlight, and also by being exposed to more and more oxygen. Those are the three things. So by heat, that means that I don't really want to have it super close to the oven, all right? Because I don't want the excess heat from the oven, or definitely don't want to have it on the oven. So I don't want the heat from the oven to continue to oxidize the particles, right? I want to get it out of direct sunlight. So that means the bottle should be dark. If you have a plastic bottle, don't even pick it up because that's not good, right? Especially if it's a clear plastic bottle, all right? If you have a darker bottle, then that's better. So glass is best. Second best, it might be a harder kind of plastic, no BPA, right? But understand the point. Decrease the amount of light, decrease the amount of oxygen, and decrease the heat, and that'll keep it longer. Some oils that may have things in them, like I like to put jalapenos, right, inside of my olive oil. So when I have like food in them that can decay more quickly than the oil itself, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. So I've got some hot avocado olive oil in the refrigerator right now. All right. So high levels of MUFAs, again, we talked about it a little bit, but it protects your body from chronic diseases by fighting free radicals, right? It can help you lose fat. And again, it helps decrease your inflammation because it's anti-inflammatory. All right. Smoke point, high heat. We talked about that. The higher the MUFAs, usually the higher the smoke point. Okay. Higher the MUFAs, the higher the smoke point. Intended purpose, cool, cooking on the stove, where you're cooking, whether you're baking, right? Or even using on cold foods like salads. And we already talked about how it's bottled, all right? So bottle should have an airtight cap, right? Because again, more oxygen that comes into it, then more oxidation, which is bad, okay? Now here's the interesting thing. The oil has gone bad if it smells like crayons, bad peanuts, phthalic, or even motor oil, okay? So that's a cool thing to recognize. Fun fact. The plaque that clogs your arteries is only 26% saturated fats and 83% unsaturated fats. So when we talk about atherosclerosis or, increasing our chance of heart disease or blood clots or whatever else, we want to understand that it's not caused by saturated fats. That's the point. It's not caused by saturated fats. All right. It's going to be caused by trans fats and inflammation. Two big killers, literally right there. All right. Next one, oils to cook with. I like this picture because it shows a different color of oils because they all are different, right? They're not all just the same, right? So it's kind of cool. But all right, so this is my list. This is my list about what oils that you should cook with. Avocado oil is one of my top, right? It's got about 70% MUFA, 10% PUFA, and 20% saturated. It has a smoke point of right around 520 degrees Fahrenheit, okay? Avocado oil reduces cholesterol, improves heart health. It's high in lutein, okay, which is an antioxidant that is beneficial for eye health. So if you need glasses like me, eat your carrots, eat your orange things, and eat some more avocado oil. It may reduce the risk of cataracts, right, which runs my family, macular degeneration, as well as your regular eye diseases, all right? And of course, because of the high MUFA content, it'll decrease inflammation. So avocado gets the thumbs up. Virgin coconut oil, not just regular coconut oil, virgin coconut oil, all right? So the reason I say virgin is because the more processed something is, the more refined it is, it goes through a process of refining, okay? So the more processed something is, the more tampered with, all right? That means the more things that can happen that can possibly affect the quality, not just the quality, but the amount of nutrients that it's going to give you. So stay virgin, all right, as long as possible, and as often as possible. So coconut oil only has 6% MUFAs, all right? 6% MUFAs. It's got less than 2% PUFAs, okay? And it has 92% saturated fat. Again, saturated solid at room temperature, okay? So it's super, super, super healthy. Don't be afraid of saturated fat. It's super healthy, okay? Now, virgin coconut oil has a smoke point of 350. All right. Some refined oils may have increased smoke points because it's been tampered with. So be careful. Virgin coconut oil rich in fatty acids, specifically in larch, which can improve cholesterol and helps kill bacteria and other pathogens. Therefore, it's antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, and antiviral. And of course, being a fat, it is extremely, and having a lot of saturated fat specifically, it's extremely neuroprotective. Another fun fact, did you know that saturated fat in animal types of fat are better suited for lubrication, like when it comes like your skin, like for lotions, it's better suited because animal fat is more closely related to our bodies than is plant fat. So fun thing. So when you do like use saturated fat, right? Like shea butter or coconut oil on your skin, and it'll give your skin a better lift. All right, extra virgin olive oil, right? Evo. So, you know, again, we've already talked about the virgin aspect of it. So Evo, 73% MUFAs, 8 to 10 PUFAs, 12 to 14 saturated. So it depends. It kind of depends where it was grown, where it's from, all that. Now, the smoke point is only 375. Okay, so I wouldn't want to do flash fires in my pan using Evo or even saturated or even coconut oil. Okay, but even though with coconut oil, the smoke point is low because it is saturated, it's still going to decrease. It's not going to have as high of a rancidity as olive oil would when it starts to smoke because of the level of MUFAs and PUFAs. Okay. Evo, again, you know it's positive, but here's why. It's an excellent source of antioxidants. It contains over 30 different types of antioxidants, all right, which is huge. Of course, decreases your risk of heart disease, protects against stroke, decreases diabetes or risk of it, may improve bone health, and also, again, may protect against cancer. So eat more Evo. And these are all oils that you can cook with. Watch your temperature, right? Don't just go put it on high the whole time. Watch your temperature and watch your smoke point, okay? Now, macadamia nut, all right? Macadamia nut oil. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, a little harder to find, but it's super healthy, okay? It's 80 to 84% MUFAs, which is huge. Absolutely huge, okay? 5% PUFA, 10 to 14% saturated. Smoke point, you see the number, just about 410 to 450. Now, macadamia nut oil is rich in nutrients, extremely rich, improves digestion, heart health, weight management, and even blood sugar control. So check out macadamia nut for your cooking, okay? Because that, again, smoke point and the MUFAs, oh, it's amazing, all right? Add that to it. Now, those are my main oils to use for cooking, all right, for cooking, especially if you're going to like do a pan fry or something like that. Now, oils to use sparingly. That means these are okay, but we want to be sure and be careful how we use them and how often. Peanut oil. All right, first thing, make sure it is 100% peanut oil. And I would not go with a name brand from a huge company because 9 times out of 10 is tampered with. If you can find a virgin peanut oil, beautiful. Virgin is good, all right? Refined, not so much, all right? But now, the MUFAs, notice the numbers are different, guys. MUFAs are just about 50. PUFAs are just about 30. Saturated, just about 20, okay? Big difference. All right, big difference in that PUFAs we're jumping up now. The smoke point is high. Now, vitamin E it has high levels of PUFA, right? That's why this is higher, okay? So great for your skin, great for some things, but because it has a lot of PUFAs, it's got a lot of omega-6s. So let's be careful with it, all right? Consume it sparingly. Again, fairly high to omega-6 and prone to oxidation. Walnut oil. All right. Walnut oil has less than 20% MUFA, 70% poly, right? Or PUFAs, and then 10% saturated. Fairly low smoke point at only 320 degrees. Vitamin E, sure, that's great, right? But may improve heart health, lower blood sugar, and have anti-cancer effects, boost skin health, may decrease inflammation, lower blood pressure, and also improve cholesterol. But notice the high level of vitamin E, yes, sure, but also the high level of omega-6s. PUFAs primarily going to be omega-6s, all right? So Let's be careful with that. All right. Grapeseed oil. We had a discussion on this in the last chat, but consume sparingly. Consume sparingly. MUFAs, 16%. PUFAs, 70%. All right. Saturated fat, only 10. Smoke point, 390. High in omega-6s. High in omega-6s. All right. So yes, it's going to contain some antioxidants, cool. But also it may contain potentially harmful levels of polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, which are known to cause cancers in animals. Never seen it before until I looked at this, but again, consume sparingly. All right. Now, oils to never use again. Oils and fats to never use again. Safflower oil. It's pretty to look at, as in the image itself, but don't consume it again. Here's why. 16% MUFA, 77% PUFA. Woo! Right? 7 saturated, smoke point 510. It's got a high smoke point, but it is also extremely refined. You are very rarely, unless you go to somebody else's country, you're going to be very rarely lucky to find a virgin safflower. Even so, it's got a lot of omega-6s, and it's known to be pro-inflammatory. Okay. So again, most virgins are modified to be higher, or modified, but also some you'll see higher PUFAs, and it's been tampered with, and we don't want that. Sunflower oil. Don't do it. Now, sunflower oil is highly refined, therefore highly processed. So anything that goes through a man-made processing is going to strip it of nutrients and possibly be more detrimental to our own health. I'm not reading the numbers. I'll let you pause the video and look at it for yourself, but I'm gonna move on. All right, never use again. Other things, I got tired of making this slide, so I just wrote it down. Soybean oil, corn oil, cottonseed, canola. Don't do it, right? Canola, technically rapeseed oil. Sunflower oil, grapeseed. You gotta be careful with the grapeseed, right? Especially if you already have an inflammation problem. Be careful with the grapeseed. Safflower oil, we said that already. Rice bran oil, margarine. Stop using Crisco. Stop using Country Crock. Yo, come on. No, don't use it. It's not real. I think it's not butter. I can't believe it's not butter. Yeah, it's not butter. It's full of carcinogens. Like, we don't want that, right? Shortening, stop using it. Right? It's better to use real butter. It's better to use grass-fed, grass-finished butter. It's better to use freaking lard, right? It's better to use things that come from closer to the ground, right? Eat as closely to the ground as possible, all right? Stop eating processed crap, and that includes these oils, all right? So don't be afraid to add lard back in. Try it. Grandma was right, and her grandma was right before her, and her grandma before her was right. We're the ones that are wrong, okay? So let's fix it, okay? Use lard, use butter, all that amazing things, okay? Now, I thought this chart was very interesting. I'll let you pause the video and kind of take a look at this. But notice the green shows poly, right? Your PUFAs. That margarine color. That maroon color shows your MUFAs, and the blue shows your saturated fatty acids. Okay, so there are a few other oils like the palm kernel oil that we haven't really talked about, but you can kind of see. So if you're looking for something high in MUFAs, look for the big maroons. All right, so almond oil has a good amount of maroon in it. Now, safflower oil, notice, like I told you before, like it's been refined. So yeah, it's been now that you know it's been refined. Otherwise, you would have been like, oh, it's got a lot of MUFAs. Let me try it. But it's been refined, okay? Hazelnut oil, all that. So just if you're going to get an oil, make sure that it is virgin or extra virgin. Also, cold pressed. I forgot to mention that. Cold pressed. That means that it's not going through a heating process. Because remember, before I told you guys that we need to make sure that we're getting our oils that are in dark colored glass bottles, right? Preferably, if we have to, we can go with the dark colored, thick plastic bottle, right? But also, we want to make sure that it's cold pressed, right? Or even expeller pressed. That means that they're not heating the oil to get more out of it. Because if we heat the oil, we've already started the process of rancification. All right. So pause it, take a look at it if you will. And we're still going. All right. MUFAs, another way to look at it. Just want to show you that. Pause it if you need to kind of check it out. PUFAs, pause it if you need to. Oh, I don't know why I didn't say this, but it's kind of self-explanatory. Stop eating vegetable oil. Okay, let me turn my little thing on. How do I do this? Okay, this right here, vegetable oil, what this means is it's literally a combination of different things, right? Combination of different oils that they just had laying around in the factory that they put together. Vegetable oil is just that. It's a combination of different vegetable oils or seed oils, okay? So what happens is it is extremely processed. It's almost as bad as trans fats. Not as, but it might as well be there, okay? So stop consuming vegetable oil that is in those super light colored bottles that comes out by the billions, all right? It's highly processed, highly toxic, highly inflammatory, which will cause you disease. Stop consuming it. There we go. Saturated fats. We know coconut oil or palm oil, things like that will have the highest. And that is it for the presentation. If you have questions, please go ahead and comment on this video. I'd love to see your questions, your comments, your feedback. I wonder, let me ask you this, which oil have you just bought that you thought was super healthy that you might need to rethink? All right. Or if you look at your oils or in your cabinet, do any of them say cold pressed or expeller pressed, right? Or are they in super light bottles? Do you still consume Crisco? I'm just curious. I'm not judging, but I hope this was helpful. So yeah, oils to use, oils never to use, and oils to use sparingly.